Hi everyone, my name is Joe and I smell good. Today I want to talk to you about my background in fragrance, or lack thereof, which is kind of the point, and just tell you a little bit about what my philosophy is on this, what I'm trying to accomplish here. First and foremost, I can answer the last thing very quickly. I want to smell new things. I love fragrances. I got inspired a couple months ago and it has really sent me down a rabbit hole here that I'm really enjoying. And I'm learning a lot. And my wife and her family don't really care about fragrances. They don't really like smelly things of any kind, not really big on candles, lotions, etc., etc. My wife has a small variation on that, and it's the smell of the lotion that you get at the Westin, because we both spent time over in India for business and they put us up at the Westin, and so she got really familiar with the smell of their soap and their lotion and things like that. So it's a very nostalgic thing for her. I'm trying to now connect the pieces between that and other fragrances, but that's a different video topic to talk about. The point of this one is I want to talk about my history, and I want to talk about what has inspired me to come down this road, and what I'm trying to accomplish here. So I want to go through just a series of fragrances that kind of are the story of fragrance for me, and that'll give you a good idea where I'm coming from and my background, which is minimal. So for me, there are basically two instances that I can think of very early on that kind of inspired me to be interested in fragrances. In the city that I grew up in, there was a store called Archibald Sisters. I don't know if it's still around, but one of the unique services that they had there is that you could get your own fragrance made, and then you could get it turned into a lotion or maybe a spray. I'm not actually sure. I only ever had lotions made because the whole point was my mom wanted me to have lotion to wear in the fall and the winter when it was dry out, so that my hands wouldn't get cracked, because my mom loves me. So she figured a fun way to do that, rather than having me wear something that smelled like coconut, was to take me down there to get something that smells kind of masculine to my taste. I wish I could get a bottle of it today just to smell it, because I only vaguely remember it. I have an idea of what it smelled like because it probably smelled like the first cologne that I wore, which was also something that my parents gave to me, which was Pierre Cardin. So this one, to me, I just bought this bottle recently and hadn't smelled it in probably 20 years. This is very different from what I remember, but the more I smell it and the more it dries down, the more I kind of realize, oh, okay, I'm sure it's been reformulated, but it is a bit different from what I remember. It is a very citrusy but spicy, really spicy fragrance. I think, based on everything that I've smelled recently, this is a whole lot of aroma chemicals. I doubt that there are very many naturals in there, though it's possible there are some natural citruses in it. This was given to me, I'm gonna guess around, I don't know when elementary school starts. I would wear this in elementary school, not heavily or whatever, but because I had one of the ones where you just do the thing and you do the dab behind the ears. So I would wear that pretty much every day, and I probably wore that through all of elementary school, maybe slightly before. I don't remember when they gave it. I should ask my dad, because I think it was actually a gift from him. That is Pierre Cardin. It's a very interesting smell. I think I don't know. Maybe it's just because of nostalgia, but it seems kind of timeless to me. It does seem like it's would still work today. I think it is what is called mass appealing. There isn't very much challenging about this. It's just kind of a nice citrusy, spicy fragrance. Anyway, that's Pierre Cardin. I think next up I want to talk about two fragrances, because I think they were both pretty much around the same time, and one of them, interestingly, I just kind of got another bottle of it recently. I don't know if I ever actually wore this one. I think I had samples of it, but of course it's a very nostalgic fragrance for me, and that is actually CK1. So I think they must have reformulated this I think they must have reformulated this in the last 20 years because it is way more powdery than I remember it being. Maybe it was just always that way, but I remember it being more masculine. I feel like it's a very unisex fragrance now. It just kind of smells like clean powder to me. So it's kind of hard because I was hoping for like that nostalgia rip since I haven't smelled it in like 20 years, but unfortunately, either it smells exactly like it's always smelled, or I just completely forgot what it smelled like. So I know that this played a role in junior high. I wore this in junior high here and there. I don't think I ever got a bottle because I never really had money in junior high. The fragrance that I did wear in junior high and through high school, very big at the time, Tommy from Tommy Hilfiger. This one is, it still smells so good. This smells so good, but it smells like dance. It smells like a dance to me. Like it just smells like going to a dance in high school and everyone is bathed in this, which I don't know, it just smells really good. It smells like there's a cactus note, I think, which maybe isn't unique. I mean, I'm sure there's nothing natural in this either. It's all aroma chemicals, but they're really, really, really well blended. This is one of the things. So I hadn't really worn this until like I stopped wearing it after high school. Because I just stopped buying fragrance pretty much after high school, and it wasn't until my like late 20s, early 30s where I was like, oh, I have money, I want to wear a fragrance. And I was like, well, I'll go get Tommy. That's what I wore before, and I loved it. And but then I kind of realized that maybe it's a little bit youthful or old, I don't know, but I like it. It's still such a good smell. Smelling it again though after a decade of not wearing it really drove home the connection that scent has to memory. So that's one of the other things that I find interesting about this, is that you can't really appreciate a fragrance until you stop wearing it. I'm reading a book and it talks about how you can't get the value out of a fragrance if you just wear it constantly, because one of the values that you get out of a fragrance is the memories associated with it. And if it's just a ubiquitous thing that you always have on, you won't be able to distinguish it one event from another. That's a whole nother video as well, but that is Tommy. Absolutely love this one. I would happily buy this for someone today, like especially, this would probably be my version of Pierre Cardin that I would give to my son, like a very inoffensive, cheap, but nice, appealing fragrance. I think this also is pretty timeless. I mean, it definitely will take you back to the 90s if you wore this or smelled it in the 90s, but if you didn't, I think you'll just go, oh, it smells good. This is one of the few fragrances that my wife is like not actively against. She smells it and she's like, oh, okay. She's kind of neutral positive on it, which is about as hopeful as I can get. So now I want to talk about the kind of post-high school period and what I've worn since then. Ever since high school, I don't know if any of you have ever seen the original Old Spice commercials. I can't remember the name of the guy. The This Is Your Man, I think, ad campaign. I thought those commercials were the funniest thing I had ever seen, and they completely sold me. So I just wanted to give Old Spice my business, so I would go and buy just like the sticks of deodorant and always try new ones. I always like to smell the different things because, frankly, the Old Spice like bars, they smell better than a deodorant should. I have a complaint about that actually, because it kind of has made some of these fragrances that I smell difficult, because sometimes if they're not like if they're not of a certain level, I'm gonna like associate them with some Old Spice fragrance because there's been dozens over the last 20 years. And then the thing is that I tend towards the Old Spice fragrances that are the most different from the original, and they happen to be, or they also tend to be the ones that get discontinued. I'm thinking of like Komodo, Belize, My current favorite, I'm pretty sure, is on the chopping block. That's this Wilderness one, which says it's with lavender, but I don't get any lavender. It is a beautiful smell. Not super duper masculine. But that's the thing, is like I wore Old Spice Sport and all of those ones originally back in junior high and high school. So I wanted something different. It would vaporize so much under my armpits that it would be like having a cologne on anyway. So I would typically just wear that, and people maybe get a little bit in the sillage, but other than that, you're not getting a whole lot from me. If I could get the chart of Procter & Gamble, who owns Old Spice, and their connection with other designers and things like that, I'm sure it would be a shocking pie chart, kind of showing you how it's connected. The point is, these Old Spice, like, I don't do the spray-on stuff, but like the sticks themselves, the fragrances are a lot more complex and unique than a lot of cheapy colognes that I smell. So these actually do kind of set the bar a little bit for me, because I think they smell really good. Maybe youthful, but again, I would say Wilderness, you're not going to get this on like a junior high or high schooler, because it's just too, they want something a little bit spicier, and this is a little bit softer. I don't know. I like Old Spice. I still like Old Spice. I might have to find something a little bit more neutral, both in body wash and in deodorant, just because now it's competing with the colognes that I'm wearing, and I don't really want them to. Finally, I want to talk about a fragrance that you've never heard of. I can guarantee that you've probably never heard of this fragrance unless you are a big soft boy like me, because it's the store scent for what was formerly Casual Male XL and is now Destination XL. It is DXL Zephyr Wood. So they they don't anymore, but they used to pump this stuff into the air. I think much like every other department store or whatever, they would pump this through the AC in the store, so it would always kind of be wafting around. I love this smell. This to me is wholly unique. There's a strong cedar note in it, but it's kind of got this sweet, almost grape-like smell on top of it. And I know that's a weird sounding combo. I love this. You can get it in air fresheners, which I do. You can get it in room spray, which I did. You can get it in a cologne. Like, I think they have everything that you can get smelling like this. I love this smell. This is a very unique smell. I still like it. I haven't worn it as much, obviously, since getting into perfumery, but I'm gonna probably talk about this one a lot on the channel, just because it is a unique smell to me. I haven't really smelled anything like it. And I've pretty much worn that probably the last 10 years or so. It wasn't until I was sent this, The Most Wanted from Azzaro, for review, that I kind of realized, oh wow, there's a whole other world out there. I've been learning a ton throughout this process. I kind of get, again, my wife and family may tell you that I may get kind of obsessive on a topic, so I have been getting really obsessive on perfumery. I've been learning a lot. And one of the things that happens, I think, naturally when you start learning is that you want to share that with people. And I have exhausted all of the ears of everyone that I know, so I have to now just scream into the void and share it with all of you, because I think this is all super interesting. I think there's so much going on with fragrance that involves like science and how they kind of like design these to function. I'm gonna have a whole like video series talking about that. So I'm fascinated by this stuff. I think this is a super fun thing. As you'll probably hear me say, I think the ability to not smell like animals is what separates us from the animals. Man, the sun is coming out right into your boy's eyes. Like, it is right over that. So the sun has arisen. So you're gonna get an outro with it going straight into my face, because I'm not moving shots. I find this to be super fascinating. I love learning about this. I love learning about the science behind a lot of the stuff, and I want to keep learning. I want to share that with you. I want to do video series talking about the actual science behind a lot of this stuff, how they get these crafting materials, what the crafting materials are. And I hope you'll join me, because I really do like sharing this stuff. And I can't talk to my wife about it anymore because she won't hear it. So thank you all for joining me today. Please like and subscribe, comment on the videos. I do want to engage with you. If there's something I said today, if there's something that you want me to smell, like please let me know. Boy, that sun is bright. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day.